Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to go over Chapter 18, High Technology Crimes. Some of you may be interested in this line of work, and after you graduate, you may be going into some work like this. So we're going to describe some positions actually that you can be working in with high-tech crimes. And again, it's a very much of a growing field because of the technology that is happening continuously. So it's a very good field to get into. It's pretty high paying, and you have to have a lot of schooling for this. So we're going to talk about this. And again, if you have any questions, please put them on the discussion board or email me. All right. So basically, technology has always been with us. And once technology is used by police, that's when criminals find a way to break that technology to commit more crimes. So it's a back and forth situation with who has the best technology. So we're going to look at some contemporary technology that has, again, opportunities for you in the field to work, and also there's opportunities for the threat of criminal activity within the criminal justice system. Basically, we've talked about very briefly about technology and with the rapid advances that are here. We're going to talk about some of the emerging technologies in a little bit. And again, the best way to stop or help combat this type of crime is to anticipate types of crimes that occur. And right now, terrorists and criminals, that's kind of the big thing with police understanding what technologies need to be used. And then incorporating these technologies into the police operations. And it can be very expensive. And there's a lot of social changes and cultural impacts that occur within this new technology. You know, cameras are everywhere. They have other things, heat thermal devices. So sometimes some of these new technologies may infringe upon our rights. So a lot of people say, you know, that's okay. I'm not doing anything wrong. Go ahead and put cameras everywhere in the city. Other people do not like that because they think it infringes on their rights. So we'll talk a little bit about that. First of all, we need to look at biocrime. Basically, biocrime is something to do with a biologically active substance. Could be chemicals or toxins, could be disease-causing organisms, altered genetic material, or organic tissues and organs. So this could be that somebody puts something in our city or county water system that is going to flow to everybody's house or where you live, and the water's contaminated. So biocrime is a very big threat, and I'm actually surprised that we have not had any large experiences with biocrime yet. Very much on the forefront, though, of terrorism. Biocrimes, as we just mentioned, they can affect the person's biological system or metabolic system or physiological or genetic. So it can affect a lot of things, not just in humans, but in animals. As we go to agroterrorism, which is an attack on plants, animals, and also human beings. So again, this is a very real threat that's out there. The future of biocrime may involve illegal harvesting of human organs, cloning or direct alteration of DNA of living beings to produce mixed traits between species. So this is basically doing some sort of cloning with people or animals. We've already cloned an animal, a sheep, a long time ago, 15 years ago. So now they're looking at people doing things for the wrong reasons. Wrong reasons. And I'm sure most of you know what cybercrime is. Basically, cybercrime is electronic media information that is stolen or used against somebody. We'll talk real briefly about cybercrime and what it does, especially with your phone. You may have been hacked, you may have had a phishing scheme going on, or your computer. And so the target of a hacker or a cyber criminal is the person behind the computer because of their inability to safely store their data, or they have a weak password, or they open things that they shouldn't. So again, cybercrime is huge. Not sure if anybody here has been a victim of cybercrime. Many people have, and it continually evolves with technology. Some types of cybercrime the book talks about: theft of services, information piracy, telemarketing fraud, fraud involving electronic funds transfer. So if you ever get an email or a text and it sounds too good to be true about anything, it probably is. So the best thing is to just delete it. Do not open it if it looks suspicious. Also, the book talks about worms, Trojan horses. We talked about phishing, software piracy, spam. So you can read about those things and how they affect people. And again, some of you will be working in law enforcement agencies, whether it's local, state, or federal, that deal with cybercrime. Terrorism and technology. A lot of sophistication has come along lately as far as technology for terrorists. Right now, the big thing is 3D printed weapons. So again, you have a 3D machine, and again, you can duplicate a weapon. They have now plastic or ceramic handguns that can fire real big bullets, armor piercing. Weapons of mass destruction are still out there, and all this goes in with the bioterrorism concern of this technology that's there. So local, state, and federal law enforcement, as well as the military, is involved in trying to combat this type of terrorism with this technology. When we talk about crime control, it's very expensive for law enforcement agencies to try to use this technology, but they do get grants for this. And again, social media or social networking sites are very important for police. It helps them interact with citizens in a positive way, and it also helps police solve crimes. Some other innovative investigative tools. Of course, we know about DNA fingerprinting, keystroke captures of a computer or laptop, laser night vision technology that's been around for quite a while, digital imaging and thermography, which we talked about, thermal imaging. This is used in, if you've ever seen a nighttime arrest or high-speed chase of a suspect, the thermal imaging of the helicopter shows basically the warm body of the person, their thermal energy, and that's how they can spot them from the air at night. And then there's the APR, automatic plate recognition software. And again, in Sacramento, what they do is they just drive their police vehicles in a parking lot like at a mall or at Sac State. They turn on the APR and it scans the license plates, as they drive by, and it can come up with a stolen plate in a matter of seconds. So it's a huge technology advance that is used. Okay, as far as some terms here, so the term criminalistics is basically techniques that are used to detect and evaluate evidence of a crime. So some of you will work after you graduate in the criminalistics area, and there are state and federal positions in the Department of Justice and in local police departments that are called criminalists. And a criminalist is a crime scene analyst or a laboratory worker that uses criminalistics to solve crimes. So some of you will become criminalists, and it's a very exciting, interesting job in solving crimes. We're going to go over some more details of what this may involve. So fingerprinting and the IAFIS, the Integrated Automated Fingerprint Identification System, if this scans hundreds of thousands of known fingerprints. The only issue with this system, which is great, it does it within seconds, is that the only way this can work is if someone has been fingerprinted. If there's somebody out there that's going around killing people or committing crimes and they leave their fingerprints, if this person's never been fingerprinted, then their fingerprint will never show up. That's why a lot of people do not get caught, because they've never been fingerprinted for anything. So if your fingerprints have been for the military or you've been arrested before, that's how they're going to show up. So it only works as good as the fingerprints are in the system. Biometrics is recognizing people by physical characteristics and personal traits. So again, this is looking at facial features, different traits. So it looks at suspects from these angles, biometrics. Ballistics analyzes any type of weapons or projectiles that come out of them. Bullets, fragments, gunpowder, etc. Some of you may end up to be a ballistic expert and work for the Department of Justice in the criminalistics area. Forensic anthropology, very interesting. This is reconstructing the likenesses of a body. Usually it's the face and head. And when you get a chance, check out the John List murder case. Very, very interesting case about what this person did. He basically killed his whole family and then went missing for many, many years. And it wasn't until many years later on a television show that a reconstruction was done, which is here on the slide, of what he may look like. So the age progressed a likeness of him. And when you check out the John List murder case, you'll see what happened. Very interesting. That's forensic anthropology. And then entomology. Forensic entomology is the study of insects to the time of death. And as you may know or not know, when a person dies, flies go over the body, onto the body, and drop their eggs called larvae. And the entomologist can tell how long a dead body has been there by the age of the larva. Could be 2 days, could be 2 weeks, depending on those sacs that have been laid by flies. So it's kind of gross, but it's a very interesting science. So all these are some criminalistics that are used. We talked about DNA profiling. It can show someone's guilt, and it can also prove innocence. And there's been many people that have been proved innocent over the years that have been serving time in prison or jail. And again, it can show guilt, also can prove innocence. Unfortunately, DNA is not involved in every conviction. Not every conviction. And the book talks about online databases, which are computerized information systems. And a lot of the public can get on some of these. One of the online databases is Megan's Law, where you can find out sex offenders in California that live around you. So that's one online database that's been very beneficial to the public. Computer-aided investigations are very popular, as well as computer-based training. So they have shoot or no-shoot decision-based trainings. Basically, you're standing in front of a huge screen in front of you about 5 feet, and behind you someone is operating the computer, and you're basically presented with a scene of a person that you have to talk to. You're going to arrest them, you're going to possibly shoot them, use of force. So it's very, very interesting and very real life. So these computer-based trainings are very good, especially the virtual reality trainings that can go on. Again, technology is moving forward much more so as far as training, which is very good. On the horizon that's coming up, you can read about these, which are nanotechnology, augmented reality. There's a lot of intrusion detection devices for border security, and the RFID tags. These are already here. Nanotechnology is already here. So again, these are some things that are on the horizon in the future that you may be involved with if you go into this type of work upon graduation. Okay, that concludes this chapter, so make sure you read it and understand the terminology, especially the terminology we've gone over. And if you have any questions, go ahead and place it on the discussion board. And if not, we will talk to you very soon. Thank you. Have a great day.